Hello, everybody. So, the World Happiness Report came out today, and I do think it's important to see, regardless of what country's the top. Obviously, Finland, of course, the HU and the WoW. It's always the Scandinavian countries, the Nordic countries, whatever way you want to describe it. Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, all in this 15th. Now, we went up from 17th last year. But I think it's important too, not even just hear me out for a second, that the Irish Constitution, the same as the American Constitution, actually the American Constitution, as far as I know, maybe some other countries do, has the pursuit of happiness. People have the right to pursue happiness. And it's hard to judge happiness, it's hard to judge feeling in terms of that. But I do think it's extremely important that people are happy, because at the end of the day, people who have millions and millions of euro are not happy. It's not about the money. I think the most important thing is just to be happy, and to be healthy. Of course, your health is your wealth too, but you know there's something more than in terms of financial gain and stuff like that. Like, it's weird when you really look into the psychology of it, and etc. etc. But I do think we should add to the Irish Constitution about the pursuit of happiness. And what I deemed it too, in a lot of jobs, particularly people are just mindless drones, what I mean to say that is people don't enjoy their jobs, they have long hours, etc. etc. And it's progression. It really is progression. I feel it so often from young people, particularly, that they don't want to be stuck at the same old job stacking shelves for the next 20 years. They want something, they want progression, they want to feel like they're doing something, they're moving up the ladder a bit. And I think that's important. It is really, really important that people feel like they're moving on from, say, stacking shelves to running the till, to moving on up, if that makes any sense, compared to just staying at one level. Because I do think it gives you meaning, in terms of movement, in terms of that. And I do think it does give you meaning in life to be happy, but it's all to do with, change, and it's all to do with moving up and not feeling like you're on the same level. I do think it's important to feel like you're moving in life compared to at a standstill. Like, we could talk about it until the cows come home, but obviously I just want to briefly touch too the Darwin went up a bit. And obviously, I don't know who wrote this, but in the World Happiness Report, but whoever compiled this, because North Korea would be happier than the Irish people at the moment with the government, because again, it does mention about corruption and stuff like that. That there is corruption and stuff. It does acknowledge that, at least. In Finland, there's no corruption. Look at the true Finns recently. And it's a miracle. Just going back to Finland, I know I'm all over the place here, but just going back to Finland, it's a miracle how they got it this year compared to any other years. Because, with this woman around, of course, you get it. But yeah, it's a miracle with these true Finns and Wika and stuff like that, and the sitters. It's a miracle how anybody would get the World Happiness Report, in their favour. Because there's not a hope in hell at the moment. People are happy with the government in Finland, particularly corruption and stuff like that, because it literally just I don't know what you would call it, but we're not going to the tone of politics of Finland. I've read into it too much, too often. But the current Finnish government are not too great. That's what I. But in terms of Ireland, like, we should be up in Ireland. We really, really should be. Like, Irish people are generally happy. Like, this just goes into the next part of it. Irish people are generally happy. I'm sure we would agree with that. The government that fucks us over. Irish people, it's the same with any tourists that come over. They love the country. Irish people are lovely. They're great, great fun. The great atmosphere. I hear that from every tourist that comes down. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great country. People are so lovely, so nice, and so happy. But it's the government. That's really, in my opinion, that's what really holds back Ireland in terms of housing and stuff like that. Is another thing. But again, it all goes back to the government, because it's government policy. What's happened the last few years is government policy. Particularly with immigration, etc., etc. It's government policies that's caused this issue. And if that was this should have been resolved years ago. But again, the government designed it really to be like this. It was, there's no other way to describe. But yeah, it mentions about housing and stuff, because housing too is a huge role to play in happiness and in terms of sustainability. If that makes any sense. Like, just going to Finland, I'm not jumping all over the place, because there's many different ways of looking at it, and there's many different avenues of looking at it. Like, just going by this, in terms of healthcare, quality of life, day to day life, it seems to be very, very extremely high compared to Ireland. Just looking at that. Because obviously Ireland too is one of the most expensive countries in the world, known in Europe. And Finland is not a cheap country too, but nothing compared to Ireland. Ireland's wants to whip you off all the time. But yeah, but it is progress that we're moving up. But I do think we should be in 6th or 7th place, at least. I'm not saying we could beat the Nordic countries or the Scandinavian countries. There's not a hope in hell we could do it. Unless we got rid of the government and done something with it. But, it's a good thing that we need to measure people's happiness, because I do think it's important. Because there's no point people being mindless drones and being unhappy, because we all know what the people in Davos want for us. But but I do think it's important to be happy, to live life happily. Because again, living in fear and living in dread and living in sadness, you're tormenting yourself. That's the way the thing. It's important to live life, because again, you never know what tomorrow will bring. Unfortunately, that's the thing. But it's always important to try and be happy and to try and find some meaning. And there's many ways of saying it, but find some meaning in life in terms of progression and in terms of sustainability and stuff like that. But it's an interesting thing, as I say, looking through other countries. Obviously, Afghanistan didn't do well, but of course, Afghanistan, well, what's happening at the moment, you would understandably not be very happy in Afghanistan. But yeah, we could talk until the cows come home. That's just my initial thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and bye.